All fucking righty, fellas. It's that time of the campaign, the class overview video, where we just go over all the classes and I give my 2 cents on them and all that fun stuff. I have used the proficiency class pack before a couple times, so I don't know how different it'll be. I don't think it has had any significant upgrades since my last time using it and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I guess this will just be a more up-to-date version of it, I guess. Sure, why not? So these are obviously the survivors of Operation Gatecrasher. Only Dust Strider, our initial skirmisher, did not survive, unfortunately. But yeah, considering the fact that Helena's still a lieutenant and Clay is still a sergeant, just goes to show you how much I use them afterwards. But hey, it's whatever. It be what it be. So yeah, we're obviously just gonna go down the list here. Go down the list. I don't know how long this will be, to be honest, because I've used all these classes before, and some of them I barely used this campaign anyway. So yeah, it is what it is. But let's just waste no time and get started. Okay, starting off, I would say starting off strong, but not really starting off strong. We're starting off mediocre here with the Assault Infantry. Now, the Assault Infantry is, at least in my personal opinion, the closest class that is comparable to the base game factions. The Assault Infantry obviously being closest to the ranger with a sword and a shotgun, although they can obviously equip bullpups as well. I didn't use them too much this campaign. I don't know why. They just kind of all got benched, and I only really used them as backup characters, I guess, for when like the A team or the B team was wounded or tired or otherwise unavailable. I just bring one of them along, which sucks because their late game abilities are actually quite strong. Right. I normally just go down this tree, the untouchable sword combatives tree, but yeah, I just didn't really get to use them all too much today, or this campaign. And I guess the fact that none of them really got bonded doesn't help either, right? Yeah, I mean, you were close to doing a bond, but to be honest, I didn't really use Marines that much this campaign either, so yeah, I think that's a big part of why they didn't get used too much, because by the time the mid game rolled around, all of the bonds and stuff, the bond mates were kind of set in stone a little bit, and the A team and the B team were kind of already established, which unfortunately didn't include any assault infantry. So oh well, I guess. I know I used them a lot in the last one, and I probably had a similar thing to talk about. They're pretty much just a renamed ranger, sword and shotgun build and all that stuff. But yeah, sorry guys. Better luck next time, I guess. If I ever use proficiency class pack again, I don't know if I will or not, but we'll see. Alright, next up is the Field Medic. Obviously, Field Medic got a lot of use today. Can't imagine why. You know, this campaign, the Field Medic got a lot of use, considering that one of our Field Medics is literally my character, so obviously they'd get used a lot. But honestly, the fact that you have no long distance healing, long range healing, like for a specialist, you don't have that in Proficiency Class Pack. So it's kind of difficult to remember that the field medics are actually medics, because they kind of remind me of, I think there's an Arc Thrower class in Long War of the Chosen or Long War 2 or whatever, They kind of just remind me of that more than an actual combat medic. Because, yeah, I think it's the assault. Is it the assault? I think it's the assault. Yeah, the assault and long war can equip a shotgun, shotgun or rifle, and a arc thrower. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I honestly mostly used the field medic as an arc thrower-y, stunny class more than anything else. Because I mean, yeah, sure, I got a lot of healing abilities because during the missions where I do take damage, like against fucking, what do you call it, certain raider factions and those stupid biomech troopers, you know, critting me, almost one-shotting me from, you know, downtown and shit, obviously, you know, I'd need medkits for that and medics for that. Like, when you need a medic, they work wonders, but other than that, they're pretty much just a rifleman with a stun gun, so overall, probably one of my favorite classes because it's nice and balanced and stuff like that, right? You have both offensive and defensive capabilities, as well as support capabilities as well. So it's just an all-around good class, reliable when you need it, and all that fun stuff. So yeah, just thumbs up from me, I suppose, eh? Alright, and Marine, as I previously mentioned, it has the same issue as the Assault Infantry, where none of them just had enough field experience to develop a bond with another soldier, so unfortunately, they weren't used as much. I know Helena used a lot in the early game because she was one of the people on Gatecrasher, but outside of that, she never formed a bond with anybody, so unfortunately, I wasn't inclined to take her out on more missions because obviously bond pairs get a lot of bonuses on missions. So yeah, unfortunately, I just didn't use them a whole lot. I know they're really good shooty people, obviously, and I think they also have a suppression tree. Yeah, you were going down the suppression tree, and then these two were kind of just going down generic shooty trees because I got them later on in the campaign, and I didn't really use them a whole lot. So, unfortunately, we did not get to see them to their fullest potential. But again, they suffered the same fate as the assault infantry. So, oh well. Like I said, better luck next time if there is a next time. Now, the marksman. I basically only ever used one marksman. That's obviously John Helldiver. He was a part of Operation Gatecrasher, and he got a bond with one of our ex-Advent soldiers, so obviously he got a lot of field time. That Dark Lance definitely came in clutch in those later few missions. Even the last few missions of this initial play session definitely came in clutch and all that stuff. And come on, it's John Helldiver. You can't go wrong with John Helldiver. But obviously, Marksman is probably another character that closely resembles their base game counterpart, Sharpshooter. Pretty much, it's a sniper, right? Like, you can never go wrong with a sniper, squad sight, bracing, even though I went the more snapshotty build with John Helldiver here. And honestly, I love the snapshot marksman build for proficiency class spec. It's a lot of fun. You don't have to worry about them falling behind on some rooftop during like a timed mission or an extraction mission or anything like that. They can just run around popping shit. Half the time he didn't even have high ground against the enemies he was shooting at, and he still fucking kicked ass. So definitely a lot of fun, but obviously didn't really get to see them a whole lot because I only ever really used one of them. So, but hey, the one that I did use was a lot of fun. So you know what? Thumbs up, marksman. I tend not to really utilize snipers too much. So considering the fact that John Helldiver got as much combat experience as he did is a miracle in of itself. So thumbs up, marksman. You did good. You did good, kid. Alrighty, our first X-Advent class of the campaign, the officers. And I gotta say, I fucking love Project X-Advent. I love the idea of liberated Advent, liberated aliens, fighting alongside Xcom, putting aside their differences for the good of Earth and all that stuff. I always love that. Really ties into the world building aspect of the game, which is also why I love Raider Faction so much and all that fun stuff. But unfortunately, it hasn't been updated in a while because we have shield bearer armor in the cosmetic list, but we don't have any shield bearers yet, which makes me sad because like I want to see this mod updated and thrive more, but I guess the mod creator got busy. I don't know what happened, but I mean the soldiers and the mechanics we have now are a lot of fun and all that stuff. Obviously, we got the build for urgent matters and stuff like that, calling in reinforcements, marking enemies, pretty much doing officer stuff. But it's for XCOM this time instead of Advent. And plus, their fucking armor looks so cool with the X-Advent logos and stuff. It'd be kind of cool if the playable aliens mod for like Long War and shit had this type of armor and all that stuff, but obviously that'd be a lot of work to try to code that in and design the armors and all that shit. But honestly, I fucking love the officers. They're a lot of fun. And yeah, thumbs up. Thumbs up. Hopefully mod development can continue at some point in the future, but if not, just gotta appreciate what we have now so far, I suppose. Alright, Psi Operatives. I mean, they're vanilla Psi Operatives. You throw them in the fucking Psi lab for a month and then they're overpowered psionic killing machines. Especially with that fucking, like, shelter we got with the improved null lance and shit. That definitely came in clutch a lot. And it wasn't so much the improved null lance, it was more so the 3 action points that we got from it, which we were able to counter its negative with the ultralight vest and speed PCS. So, yeah, it's a psyop. They're OP. They're meant to be OP. It's whatever. Fucking say what you want about psionics. It is what it is. Man, I can't believe I'm saying this about a hero faction, but the Reaper Oliver here kind of got shafted by the lack of bond pairs as well. Like, I know I used him, right? Oh, okay. Well, I mean, maybe not. I guess I didn't use him as much as I thought I did. I thought he had more than 2 missions to his fucking name, but yeah, no. Damn, because the Reapers are interesting. I like their shadow stack mechanic, being able to stay in concealment. It's like Silent Killer, but you gotta be a little bit more careful, because if you go willy-nilly with it, you will get yourself screwed over. Right? Like, it's a more balanced Silent Killer, and that's what I like about the Reapers. Like, screw the fucking Claymore, I just give them a pistol. Right? There's a 1 HP enemy left on the map, the Reaper can get a flank on it, that's a guaranteed kill and a guaranteed chance of staying shadow. Staying concealment. So, yeah, I hate to say it, but the Reaper got the same treatment as the Assault Infantry and the Marines did this time around. Fucking RIP. RIP indeed. Alright, the Spark fucking carried us through the late game, let's be honest here. And also, if I actually remembered about the Titanfall Legion mod that I have, that gives us the Legion armor, that gives us the mini guns. Like, pretty much turns Julian here into Legion from Titanfall 2 with the power shots and the gun shield and the miniguns and the insane amount of damage. He can do 140 kills. I wouldn't be surprised if that's our highest kill count of the campaign here. Yeah. He carried us through the late game there, and that's only because of the Titanfall shit. Like, I didn't even upgrade his bit. I didn't upgrade his bit. I didn't care about what type of power or powered weapon, heavy weapon he'd have. It was all the fucking gun and all the armor. Like, Jesus Christ. If I didn't have the Legion mod enabled, Sparks would probably be a lot lower on the list of my favorite classes. But Julian, this campaign, absolutely crushed it. And he was amazing. And Julian's my favorite character in Xcom 2. Hell yeah. Sappers, again, another class I didn't use too often because of bond pairs and shit like that. I only started using Sappers once I got the Frostbomb, and by that point I was already like halfway through the Golden Path missions, and it didn't make that much of a difference because the only time I used the Sapper for the Frostbomb, she fucking missed. I don't think I don't remember that. Don't think I don't remember you missing your Frost Bomb against a fucking Sectopod Prime. Like, what? How did... I'm moving on. Alright, Sappers didn't get used, whatever. Womp womp. Skirmishers! Skirmishers are a lot of fun. They're my favorite hero faction in the base game. And they don't really differentiate that much in Proficiency Class Pack. I mean, they have the heat system, which obviously translates into the Ripjack. They can either use heat for the Ripjack or use it for their weapon, I think. I went down the Ripjack tree, though. Hang on. Abilities. Yeah, like reinforced cabling. I got superheated blades, right? And then obviously hit and run, which they actually start with hit and run in Long War, so that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, superheated blades. Yeah, they're fun. Justice. I use Justice more than I use Wraith. Integrated grapple, really fun, kind of high mobility people. Yeah, they don't really feel that different to their base game counterparts, though. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. It means they're still fun to use. So there you go. Alright, the fun Lancers. Same with the officers, they're incredibly fun to use. The whole X-Advent premise is just super cool to me. And I really hope that we maybe one day get some more X-Advent classes, but yeah. They're a lot of fun. They're definitely my favorite out of the two of them that we have available right now. Definitely prefer the Fun Lancers over the officers, but they're both equally nice. It's just that if I had to choose, I'd choose Stun Lancers, obviously. And plus, the X-Advent armor as well is also really cool, too. Like, yeah, like, especially the ones that you customize yourself and stuff. You can make some really cool patterns and stuff, so... yeah, there you go. Thumbs up, Stun Lancers. Alright, Tech Specialist, I only ever really used Sola. I didn't start using them until we got the Skulljack, and even then I forgot to use them half the time. They're long-range hackers. I didn't really get a whole lot of use out of hacking or anything like that, so they're kind of in that twilight zone with half of the other classes in this campaign. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Sola. Alright, Templars. Templars are a lot of fun because you kind of have those two separate skill trees. You have the Blade skill tree, which is what Nightmare is, and then you have the more spellcasting skill tree, which is what Frisk is. Right? Obviously, if you go down the Blade tree, you want to keep your focus for things like Skyfall and Rending and all that fun stuff. And then with the Templar, you don't really stab as much. You only stab to get focus, and for that you kill steal for, you know, low HP enemies anyway, to get things like reanimate. Unfortunately, I didn't get all the way down to max rank to get either Sundering Storm or Void Conduit here, but I don't know, it was still a lot of fun. Psy Strike came in clutch a couple of times. Reanimate was fun to use the couple of times I remember to actually use it, but obviously Nightmare got... Did Nightmare get more? You got 15... You got 10. Wow, I actually used Nightmare more than I used Frisk. Interesting, but still. They were a lot of fun to use. I definitely think they were the most unique in terms of proficiency classes and stuff like that, but regardless, they were still fun and stuff. So yeah. Alright, Wibbles. I mean, he's Wibbles. He's controlled by an AI. He does fun stuff. Sometimes he's an idiot, but that's why we love him, right? I don't think Wibbles works with a Long War. I could try, but I don't think he actually turns into a soldier. If you build a Wibbles, he's like a utility item, and he doesn't do anything, unfortunately. But yeah, no. Yeah, Wibbles is fun. I mean, Wibbles and Raider factions alone is probably what's going to keep me coming back to base game more of the Chosen. I know a lot of big XCOM streamers only do Long War nowadays, especially with Ted Jam and Beyond Legendary taking over everything, but Wibbles is definitely going to keep me coming back to base game. Definitely, definitely. That and the mission pack and the Raider factions and all that stuff. Just things that probably aren't going to be added to Long War anytime soon. I know Karuka didn't want to add Raider factions to Long War, and I'm pretty sure Tester doesn't want to either now that he's taking over it as well. If I knew how to mod, I'd add like the vanilla friendly Raider factions into Long War, make it like a mini expansion, kind of like what Requiem turned into for Mod Jam. Make like a unofficial Raider faction expansion pack for Mod Jam, but unfortunately I don't know how to code, and I don't feel like trying to learn, because I know a lot of people don't like Raider factions. I'm probably one of the few people who do, so oh well. But basically that's it. That's the end. I mean, they're still the ex-Advent Trooper, but they're basically just rookies. There's nothing special to say about them. And yeah, that is... I'm gonna fucking regret this later. It is already 12:40 and I work early tomorrow. I'm only gonna get about 5.5 hours of sleep. I need to go to bed. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see you guys next time.